Hello everyone! I have been building a house for an artist and her teen daughter during the month of May. I decorate each room individually on my shorts and now we're going to be putting the house together. I wanted the furniture to have a rustic look to it and to be colorful, as if the Sims that live here have been decorating it by hand over the years. I used bright colors against white and dark blue brick walls for contrast in most of the rooms, and there are plenty of plants and patterned fabrics as well as natural textures. I included a laundry room and an art studio/office, as well as 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, a dining room, and a living room. If you would like to watch each room coming together, I'll have a playlist of those shorts linked down in the description, and you will be able to see them in full detail, but in this video we're just going to go ahead and start assembling this build. So the first thing that I wanted to do was to separate these bedrooms so that I would have on one side the ones from the downstairs and on the other side I would have the ones from the upstairs. And I tried to make this floor plan make sense. I really wanted to have the kitchen opposite the dining room, or as much as I could do that, because I wanted to have something of a whimsical space in here, and so this space was looking a bit too symmetrical, so I ended up offsetting some of them, and I actually made one of these rooms into a diagonal section. So I basically just added a diagonal space upstairs and rearranged everything so that it would fit that way, and I also made a few tweaks, such as changing these doors so that the door to the outside would be able to actually face the outside, and I also decided to have a different door in here just so that this could be a bit more mismatched and whimsical, since I was thinking that this artist is a very unusual person, I would think. So I really tried to do that with all of these furniture and colors and everything. And I tried some things like making the laundry room have these built-in washing and drying machines, but it didn't work because these are cube shelves. If you use a normal shelf, it does work, there is no problem, and you get to have like some sort of countertop above the washer and dryer. But if you use a cube shelf, your Sims aren't able to use them anymore. So that was very sad, because I really like how it looks, but I did add some laundry to the backyard, and I also decided to upload this without the cube shelves because I figured it would make the most sense, even if I think it looks really great. So that was a bit disappointing, but I was glad that I was able to create this sort of console next to the back door and combine it with a bookshelf, and I just really liked using all of these like greenish blue items from Jungle Adventure, which I almost never use because I think that they need a very specific style of house, and I think that this is exactly that style of house. So I just went with all of these items that I felt were sort of boho but also original and a bit quirky. So for example, this mirror with the crystals and the moon shape. And I just thought that it was a very cool concept for a build. And this is actually a concept that I had been wanting to build for a long time. I think ever since I got maybe either Jungle Adventure or Parenthood, because those two have similar like painted furniture in interesting colors. There's lots of blues and greens, and for example that dresser that has the painted flowers on it. And here in the upstairs, I really wanted to have a bit of a different feel from the downstairs. Many of these rooms aren't white in background, like the ones that I have downstairs. So I wanted to have a stereo that was also fitting. And so I got this one from Jungle Adventure, and I have made this diagonal section, which is where I'm going to have the artist studio, which ends up having a bit of a different layout than I originally had, but I still have the desk the same way as it was supposed to be, with everything on it and above it in mostly the same way. And I also have the canvas storage, although in a different position, and I also got this like tarp for painting with the easel above it, as well as that green chair, because I wanted it to look like this artist was painting some more furniture for their home, and so I really wanted to have this section look like it was the most actively used part of the house. So Even when I rearranged this space, I did have to move it a couple of times because I didn't exactly know where I wanted the bathroom, and I knew that I wanted a balcony, but I still hadn't figured it out fully at the moment. So it does change a bit, but it is really the same room as the one that I featured on the short. And actually this was my second time around trying to put this house together, because I had started working on it and I was, I think, a half an hour into it when my game crashed. So I already had figured out the layout, and I think I was starting to try out some stuff with the roof. And then some of the roof pieces weren't responding, and that's when I should have tried to save, but I always forget that that is a sign that you get when your game is about to crash, so I didn't save it. But I think that this second version of this space worked at least as well as the first one, if not better. And I actually remembered to fix the tiles in the bathroom, which I didn't do when I was doing the shorts. I just didn't realize that they weren't lined up the way they were supposed to. I also decided to add a window instead of this gallery wall, which I decided to instead have over here by the stairs. And I think that was a much better use of the space. But this is going to still change a little because I didn't keep that love seat, but I did keep the games table, although I decided to move it over by the stairs. And the reason why this changed was because I made the upstairs a bit bigger, so that the bedroom is a bit... it doesn't exactly match the footprint of the downstairs. So I ended up having a bit more space, and I was able to add a door into the balcony. And actually that balcony was a bit hard for me to figure out because I didn't exactly know how to add a door to it, and the roofing was creating a bit of a problem because there is just a one tile wide space in a section, and I didn't think that looked like usable space. So what I ended up doing was to add a couple of planters, but before that I decided to add a mirror to this gallery wall, and I also added this like plant stand from the Backyard Stuff Pack, which comes in some pretty fun colors, and I tried to keep it in one of those, but I didn't think that it matched the rest of the room, so I decided that it just wasn't working, so I decided to not do that. So instead I added a chair in this space, and I added one of the reward pillows. At the time that I was building this, I still didn't have that pillow, and I still don't at the moment, but I don't know when this video is going to go up because I'm pre-recording, so yeah. But I was still able to find it, I think, from the gallery or something. So actually when they announced that they were going to have these login rewards, I was a bit nervous about building with them, but when I realized that anyone could just get it from the gallery anyway, I decided that it wasn't going to be a problem, so I am just using them whenever I am able to. And at this point I was still trying to improve this section, and I just didn't like it at all. I felt that it was a bit too strange to have that even with this half wall, so I instead decided to turn that into another planter, which I think worked best for this area. I am not really used to using gabled and, you know, any of these roof pieces. I am more often building apartments or houses that have a flat roof or a very simple roof, so this was quite the challenge for me. So what I ended up doing was to make this bedroom a bit larger, and so that allowed me to have an ensuite in there, which I am going to be working in shortly. But first I wanted to have some like pieces to keep that up and some trim so that it didn't look ugly, and I was actually able to have a green trim, which made me very happy because I really wanted to use so much green in this build. It's a color that I don't think I use that much, but lately I just really like green lately, so I was happy that I was able to do that. And this ensuite has a very strange shape, so I ended up having this long section which is actually going to be an open shower, which I felt worked pretty nicely, and I have actually seen this kind of shower, but in The Sims it just looks very weird, so I decided that I could live with it, and I decided that I couldn't live with this style. I tried to keep it, but in the end I switched it out for the stone that I was using in the kitchen, and I don't think I showed that, but you will be able to see that on the screenshots. And other than that, I kept very similar items to the ones that the other bathroom has, even if I didn't decide to keep that same wallpaper. But then I decided to move this to Brindleton Bay because I normally build in Newcrest or a world that has very large lots, so that I am able to actually make all of these rooms and have space to record them and everything. But I really wanted this to be in a space that had a lot of nature and that was a bit more secluded, so I decided to have that in this very nice little lot here in Brindleton Bay. This is, I think this one is called Daschund Creek or something similar. It's one of the ones that are more removed from the town, and I really liked how all of this nature was behind the house, but in front of it you have like a highway, so that it still looks like the sim would be able to get into town to sell their artwork or get some more art supplies easily, which for me made it a bit more realistic. But I really wanted it to be like just in the middle of nowhere, and because that felt a bit more whimsical or maybe quirky, and so I decided that that worked best for this space, and I am just adding some more details to the outside, such as these planters that are like repurposed drawers. They are from Werewolves, and I think that they are like the ultimate quirky outdoor piece, and I tried to use them in the more fun swatches, but I didn't end up liking that, so I decided not to do that, and now I am just grabbing these items that I wanted to use in the build and that I had separated when I was making all of these individual rooms. And so I am keeping this very cool picnic table that has like painted on detail. It looks kind of like tile, and I am also adding some of these planters, and also I wanted to have a space where you could dry your laundry, and later I did add the laundry tub or whatever that thing is called. And another thing that I really wanted to have in this garden was this very beautiful swing set from the Little Campers kit, which has that boho vibe and also fun colors as well as some string lights, and so I thought that it was perfect. And later I decided to add the tree from Movie Hangout, which has a lot of these beautiful lanterns, and I added it behind that swing set, but I don't show it because I forgot to do it until I was about to take screenshots. So you will see that in the screenshots, but sadly I didn't keep that as part of the video process. But I did keep these planters, and later on I changed the fence a little bit because it jumped up a bit weirdly because of the foundation that I added. But I did remember to add a mailbox, so I added the one from Werewolves, which looks kind of shabby, but also like it could have been handmade and, you know, like the kind of thing that you could find in the middle of nowhere. But I, however, did forget to add an outdoor trash can. I did make sure to add it before I uploaded this to the gallery, even if I didn't remember to add it when I was taking the screenshots. But I saw it's there, and I used the one from Get Together, which has some like painted swatches and it's wooden. So I thought that it was the perfect trash can for the build, and it's actually my favorite outdoor trash can, I think. I use it all the time. But yeah, I decided to add a lot of wisteria and some other different vines to this space, as well as these very cute like jars of fairy lights. And I think that this really made the build be closer to my vision. And I also added the tree stump with the rabbits and the one with the birds, so that you can have some more wildlife and cute things in this space. And I tried to add a pathway, but I didn't really like it because I was trying to use the rain paint and I just wasn't liking the way that that was looking. So I decided to only add some like normal dirt so that it would be a bit less flat. And then I just changed this fence, and I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you check out the shorts in which I built these individual rooms if you want to. Once again, I will have that linked down in the description, as well as a playlist where I have all of these houses that I have been building in this way, and I try to make one of these every month. I was a bit late with this upload, but that's just how this worked out. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.